Amanda versus Juliana Pena. Who do you got? Pretty simple question, which, by the way, just to remind you, the last time that they fought, you all had Amanda. It wasn't even close. It was a 7-1 spread. People couldn't believe it when Juliana even hung in there for the second round, when she even took those shots. She had a submission on Amanda that even when the fight was done, the biggest of experts were saying it wasn't even a submission. It wasn't even locked on. It was that hard to accept what it is that we saw. So now as I ask you, it's the same ladies doing the same thing. You were so sure as Amanda the first time. Who do you got now? And I'm just wondering if your opinions have changed. I'm quite sure that line is not going to be 7-1. Do you guys remember before Sterling just fought Peter Yan? I came and I told you I predicted Sterling, which generally you love to know who I'm predicting, so you can bet on the opposite. But I had a very different reason. I told you guys, hey, I was just on this MRI call. I talked to Sterling. Sterling doesn't know he's the champion. He is looking at this completely different. He has the hunger of a challenger. He has that same chip on his shoulder. Well, I've got to carry that example over to Juliana Pena, because her approach to this fight with Amanda is very much the same as Sterling's second match with Peter. She doesn't know she's the champion. She's still angry. You still haven't given her her due. That is making her just as hungry. And it's even confusing Amanda just a little bit. Like, these two did The Ultimate Fighter. I don't know how close that you guys have followed it, but Amanda did a bit of a recap interview. And I'm going back a week or 10 days even, and Amanda said Juliana was very pleasant on The Ultimate Fighter. She was acting. She wanted to look a certain way to America for the duration of the show, so she pretended to be somebody different. She wasn't talking trash. And it does perhaps make you, the audience, wonder which one's the real Juliana. Now, I was very surprised when Amanda said this. I had been through The Ultimate Fighter, and I will tell you, when you're in the habit of talking trash, as it gets put, of you're in there to put out quips, to put out things that can put into headlines, that can fit in 160 characters or less and be done in a tweet, it requires a certain energy, but you only have to have that energy for very brief moments. 3-4 seconds to have this line, 5-10 seconds for your thumbs to type out the tweet. When you're on the set of The Ultimate Fighter and you're filmed around the clock, that has to be the real you. Nobody is a good enough actor to stay in character for the duration of the show. So what you see on The Ultimate Fighter, that's the real Juliana. I don't know if Amanda knows that. I don't know if Amanda knows, hey, listen, Juliana actually never did anything to you. She actually never did anything that was inappropriate to you. You were this unbeatable type fixture within our sport, and she was trying to get her opportunity to compete. She would then, moreover, was trying to convince the people that she had what it took to win. And moreover than that, she was trying to convince herself, I do in fact belong, and I can in fact pull the upset. Seems very simple to me. Seems very straightforward to me. But Amanda is still irritated at some of the things that Juliana has done, and Amanda has her defenses up, ready for Juliana to switch and go back into that mode, which as the fight gets closer, I will predict for you is exactly what Juliana is going to do. But which one is the real Juliana? The one on The Ultimate Fighter, of course. The one that understands that we can be personable, but at the end of the day, we're going to do a competition. If we're going to compete anyway, we might as well get as much interest as we can and have as many eyeballs on us as possible. That's the real Juliana. And I got to tell you, there's nothing wrong with understanding the difference in the role of being a coach and a mentor to younger aspiring athletes, and also showing them that there's a side of this where we're going to do it anyway. Why do it in private? Why do it in front of 50,000 people if we could do it in front of 5 million people? And it appears that it's throwing Amanda off just a little bit. That's a small observation by me. I don't even know that that will play into the actual contest itself, but I am asking you guys, from the approach, have you been a little bit of surprise from the approach, and knowing that Juliana is with her same team and same coaches and same workout partners that got her the victory in the first place, and Amanda is not? Amanda is now with a new team at a new gym. Is that good? Is that bad? We could only guess. We don't know. But I'm asking you what you think. Is Amanda looking at this correctly? Because Amanda did very well with Juliana. I'm not sure that Amanda always remembers that. There was only one round that was completed. By the way, Amanda won it. I don't know that Amanda remembers it that way. I would be very curious. And I think that this fight's going to be different. Like, as this starts to get here, I'd like to have a breakdown with you guys, more over than just who do you think's going to win. I like to ask you guys different questions, such as, is this going to go the distance? I'd like to ask you different questions, such as, who do you think will win the first round? Because we saw in the first fight, who won the first round is not the one that went on to win the rest of the match. And it's very different. Amanda came out, she threw everything into those punches in the first round. Generally, when those punches have landed through the duration of her career, the opponent could not take it. This time, the opponent could. That's what's different. That's what changed things. That's what opened up the choke. That's what put Amanda in that precarious spot in the very first place for Juliana even to stake that in, was the surprise that I'm even hearing moreover that you're here. Now that she's aware of that, can she correct it? I mean, that's very similar to what happened to Conor McGregor the first time he fought Nate Diaz, but Conor was aware of it. He even came and told us that. I put everything into those punches. He took them. Then I didn't have any punches left. Was not efficient with my energy was the exact statement. But he was able to correct that because he was aware of it. Is Amanda? I don't know. None of us know. But for Amanda's takeaway to be that Juliana has to be rude or unsportsmanlike or talk trash, I don't know that that's a fair assessment. I think that perhaps she is judging her foe wrong. And if you judge your foe, you judge your opponent wrong in any regard, it's right for me, a member of the audience, to what else do you have wrong? If you didn't understand that that trash talk, as you put it, was to gain interest and nothing more, that it was to talk herself partly into something when it's an insurmountable task to go on in front of the world as a 7-1 underdog, if you misjudge those things and you misinterpret them in the first place, what else are you getting wrong? It's an interesting point. It's a fair question. I want to know right now. You've, of course, got the right to change your mind. For right now, who do you have in that fight? Amanda or Juliana?